Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pillar to Post. Now, I've got to make a little apology because last night I did not upload my review for AEW Dynamite. Now, there is a reason for such. One, I'm a busy man. Two, been so busy I actually forgot Dynamite was on, so I ended up watching it at 1 a.m. in the morning, watched the replay. Um, Now, it's not like me to miss a wrestling show when I'm enjoying it, but life in general has been pretty busy around here in the Wall household, and so the mind wanders sometimes. And I got busy working on some writing as well as doing some work on 2K20, trying to see if anything works with that game. We all know how crappy that is, but we'll leave that aside because last night Last night, last night gave fans a reason to stand on their feet. Gave the fans a reason to follow some good wrestling, follow some good storylining and good storytelling. See, that is something that is lacking very much so in the wrestling world these days. Um, I've talked about um, I shouldn't say my dislike, but my my want for AEW to tone down the high flying and all that. You guys know that it's been said a couple of times on the channel, but so I'm not going to bother talking about that. I'm going to talk about the show itself and my thoughts. And I took many notes last night, um, or I should say this morning, and sat and I was contemplating on doing the video last night, and it's like, you know what, I've got to get up at the crack ass of hellacious morning, and do some long driving and everything to bring my son up to his therapy session up in London, and which we were there for 4 hours today waiting, but I even actually grabbed the cell phone. I was going to do my review right there in the car while I was waiting, and it's like, damn it, forgot my notes. But I'm here now. I'm at home. I had a great dinner with the family. Took them all out to a steakhouse. Um, Had some chicken and wings and a nice Caesar salad. You know, I said chicken and wings, didn't I? Yeah. It's one of those days. But I had some wings, some Cajun wings, and some Caesar salad. It was a great supper. The rest of the family had steak and potatoes. All around a fun time with the family. Got to sit down around a dinner table and enjoy ourselves and have a good laugh at each other's expense. And that is something my family does quite often. We laugh at others' expenses, especially with each other. So it was an interesting meal. It was very funny and very, very, very feel good with the whole family. But you're not here to talk about what I had for dinner and what kind of good old jolly old time the angry asshole had with his family. You know, well, maybe later on I'll tell you what went on during the nighttime between Mrs. Viking and who. But that's for another time. Ladies and gentlemen, it was October 30th, 2019, AEW Dynamite. Yes, indeed. It was a good show. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Take away my wants for some slower build up in a match and whatnot. Every match gave something. Every match provided something. There were some slow times where the fans were kind of just a little bit withdrawn. But overall, the fans loved what they were watching. I loved what I was watching. And that's the main point. Now, like I said, I took down a lot of notes. And I don't want to draw this out too long. I might read them all. I might, just kind of skim them. But all in all, I want to tell you, you want to check out shows like AEW Dynamite, AEW Dark, as well as NWA Power. But, as you know, the Angry Viking, the big bad bully, he's got a little bit of vision impairment. Got smacked upside the head one too many times by old Yeti Bloodyard and Olmar Wolf. So, gotta get my spectacles on so these peepers can convey to you what they witnessed last night. So, well, hello, people. I can see you now. Yes, I'm looking at you right through your screen. Ah, shit. That sounded pervy, didn't it? But ladies and gentlemen, last night we had AEW Dynamite. Now the show opened with Tony Schiavone standing outside a private jet, and out steps Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes. Now, the brothers, they have a brotherly, little hug going down, a little bit of whispering going down, a little bit of encouragement. Cody seemed a little bit trepidatious, a little bit nervous, you might say, about the upcoming contract signing that would happen later on in the show. You could say this is one of his bigger matches for his career. You got a guy like Chris Jericho, who is the very first AEW World Champion. You got Cody Rhodes, who has been World Champion in other companies. But this is the business that he and his friends, along with Tony Khan, built with their imagination, their mind, and their passion. Him and Tony Schiavone, they make their separate ways to a limo that's awaiting them, and we go to a cut scene, and we go in from there. But it was a nice way to open up the show, because you got to see Cody Rhodes not as a confident competitor, not as an egotistical, superstar who believes he's got this match in the bag. He's got his concerns, his trepidations, his nerves working against him a little bit. It was good to see. It was good to see him convey that. It tells the fans that this is a big match for him coming up. This is something important, and you need to watch as the story unfolds and is told to you. That is what I like about the Rhodes family as a whole. Each and every single one of the Rhodes men, they know how to tell a story. And that is one of the most important things in the wrestling business. If you want the fans to connect with your character, if you want the fans to be immersed and gravitate towards you as a person, not just a superstar, but as a person, you have to convey those emotions and let them know, I'm walking this road into a hell hole, and I don't know if I can pull off a win and take down the serpent that waits for me at the end of this road. That to me is something that is very important in any story being conveyed to the audience in a wrestling ring, even on wrestling programming. It's not an easy thing to do. It's something that a lot of performers struggle with, but that is one thing that Cody Rhodes and the Rhodes family has never struggled with, and it is amazing to watch. So that was the opening segment of the show. From there, we get a video package, things that happened between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega last week. Then it flips over to Moxley storming through the backstage to Tony Khan's office, where he finds out that the match he'll be having with Kenny Omega at Full Gear will be now a lights out match, as in an unsanctioned match. So win or lose, it doesn't count for nothing. It's like it never happened. You hear Moxley yelling and cursing through the door. He yells, "You don't want your boy to lose, so it doesn't count." That's what you're going for. It doesn't count for nothing. He goes on to tell Tony Khan that what happens to Omega from here on out is on AEW and Tony Khan's head. I love Jon Moxley now that he's in AEW. I could not get behind the Dean Ambrose character. I could not get past the comedic crap and the bullshit of the other company. You know, it wasn't him. And this is the way he should have been portrayed all along. This is Jon Moxley. He's in your face, he's direct, he's blunt, and if you don't like it, he's going to put his fist down your throat and probably pull out your testicles as he reaches through your asshole and pulls them up. You know, dig it. I love what Jon Moxley's doing in AEW. It is perfect for him. It tells the fans, I'm not a heel, I'm not a face, I'm just there to hurt you and get what I want. With Jon Moxley, since joining AEW, it has been like a rewriting of past mistakes with the man behind the character. You know, it is so good to see, and we'll talk more about Jon Moxley later on. But our opening bout, it is Sammy Guevara. He is 2 for 2 in AEW, and I say this because wins and losses are supposed to mean something here in AEW. So he's got 2 wins, he's got 2 losses. He'll be taking on Hangman Page in our opening bout, who is 3 for 3. So both of them have, kind of struggled in their AEW beginnings. But Hangman and Sammy, they lock up, and as you know, JR and Excalibur are on the mic. They talk about Hangman needing to find his voice, which I think is a good thing, because they do need to be able to start speaking with the fans, to be able to start connecting with the fans. Cheap Heat aside, Sammy Guevara loves Cheap Heat. I don't care what anyone says. And a lot of what the Inner Circle does right now is a lot of Cheap Heat. But they definitely need to start focusing on his character development. Hangman drops Sammy with a kick and then hits a vertical suplex for a 2 count. Yes, very quick pinfall attempt. Sammy hits a suplex of his own, and Hangman goes for the kick out, and Sammy goes for the cover. Hangman slaps Sammy, but Sammy suckers him in and kicks him right in the face. Now Sammy flies over the top rope with a cross body, but Hangman catches him and hits a fallaway slam and then clotheslines Sammy over the top rope to the arena floor. Sammy pulls Hangman off the apron as Hangman's exiting the ring and hits the apron on his way down. His back, you can see he expressed that emotion very well. His back was hurting from it. Sammy sends Hangman into the guardrail following that, and we get back in the ring. Now, Sammy hits a forearm and goes for a squat with a fireman's carry, mocking Page in a way. And Sammy goes up to the top rope, jumps off, and instead of doing any kind of elbow drop or splash or 350, 450 splash, he just jumps off the ropes and slaps Hangman right in the face. As you can imagine, Hangman wasn't too happy, and he chops the crap out of Sami Zayn. Sammy avoids several clotheslines and flipping backwards to avoid one before super kicking Hangman right on the chin. Hangman spins around with a lariat and drops Sammy, Both men are down. Now Hangman hits another clothesline in the corner, follows that up with a big boot and a back suplex. Page then goes for the Deadeye right on the apron, but Sammy fights out of it, charges at Hangman, but Hangman catches him and hits a big sidewalk slam right on the apron. Looked nasty as F, man. Hangman then powerbombs Sammy in the middle of the ring, but only gets a 2 count out of it. We follow that up with Page hitting a moonsault from the top rope to the floor on Sammy, and the crowd was lit. They enjoyed this match. Page gets Page sets up for the buckshot lariat, but Sammy dodges, hits a knee on Page. Page hits a discus forearm to send Sammy to the ropes. Page charges, but Sammy ducks and sends Page to the apron. Page flies back over the top rope with a buckshot lariat, gets the 1-2-3. That is our opening bout. Hangman Page is now at 4 wins, 3 losses. A great way to open up this show. Now, you know, I know there is a lot of people out there, you know, giving stars per match, and you know, I don't know how they base those stars. If I were to rate a match with any kind of star system, you know, like 5 stars, 4 stars, whatnot, I would have to say about an even 3 stars for this opening bout. It was a nice way to set things in motion. There's a lot going for Hangman Page as he moved forward, as well as Sammy Guevara. These both were looking for important victories here, and Hangman took it. After the match, though, Hangman grabs the mic and talks about how things haven't been going very well for him as of late. But tonight he felt good, and at Full Gear, he's going to do some cowboy shit and take Pac's head off. A nice, short statement at the end of his match conveyed towards the man he will meet at Full Gear. It was perfect. I can't wait to see more from both Sammy Guevara as well as Hangman Page. You know, and it's true. Like both Excalibur and JR both stated it. These guys need to find themselves. They need to find their voice. They need to find a way to connect more with the fans. And I think Hangman is on the right page. Sammy Guevara, I'm a little bit up in the air with. The kid is fucking talented. And you know, right there, fucking cursing right away. But he is very talented. He just does some things that I don't know. I just kind of I just can't get drawn in by him. You know, there's he's got the egotistical mindset down, but it doesn't make me hate him or like him or whatnot. I'm just up in the air about Sammy Guevara. Like I said, very talented kid. Very talented. Just, I'm a little bit up in the air about him. We then get the Rock and Roll Express arriving at the arena, and Private Party meet them in the back to welcome them. So that was a nice short little clip letting us know Rock and Roll Express is in the house. It's always great to see legends like the Rock and Roll Express. I was a big fan growing up of theirs. And to me, they were guys that got guys like the Midnight Express and the Rockers, and you know, I in my eyes a little bit of the Hardy Boys as well. You know, and if you look at Nick and Matt Jackson, they're you know, kind of like the same style, not wrestling wise, but looks wise, you know, very similar style and feel about them than the Rock and Roll Express, and you know, they're still in the ring to this day. You gotta love that. Shows a lot of heart. Up next, though, we had a debut match. Shanna. Shanna will, like I said, debut will take on Hikaru Shida. Shida already has one loss, one win. Shanna making her debut. I believe they said she was from Paris or Portugal and went to Paris. You know what? She's wrestled in both areas. So good to see another new face. I'm still getting used to faces like Shida as well as now as Shayna and many others that are in AEW. So it's just another new face and seeing more talent. I'll talk about my issues with this match after I go through it. Shida and Shanna. Oh, you gotta love pop-ups, man. Shida and Shanna show up, showed some good technical wrestling in this match. Though one of the kicks by Shanna looked very weak. Shanna followed that up with a very well done rolling neckbreaker for a near fall. Sends Shida to the floor and goes for a tope, but Shida cuts her off with a knee to the face. Looked very hard hit in some of these knee strikes in this match. Shida pulls a chair out from under the ring. I assumed she was going for a DQ, like going to give Shanna a win, but fool me once, She props up the chair and runs in and hits Shanna with another knee strike. It looked great and everything. Shida hits a backbreaker in the ring, but Shanna kicks out. Shida then hits another knee in the corner, but only gets a 2 count. From there, Shida uses several knee strikes to the torso and goes for a brainbuster, but Shanna counters with a cradle that Shida manages to kick out of at the last second. Shida then responds with a few strikes, but Shanna blocks another suplex attempt. Shanna eats a forearm and a Hurricane Rana from Shida, but hits a Hurricane Rana of her own. Both women hit forearms at the same time, but Shanna hit a flying forearm following that. Picks up Shida and hits an Angel's Wings on Shida, but only gets another 2 count. Now Shanna goes to the top rope, but Shida cuts her off and attempts a vertical suplex. And yes, my brothers want to talk to me. They can wait. The crowd start to boo Shida a bit here as they get started to get behind Shanna. Shanna blocks the suplex but hits a diving double foot stomp right to the face of Shida for a 2 count. Shanna tries to pick Shida up to go for another Angel's Wings, but Shida blocks, and you gotta love these guys. Shida blocks it. Shida then pulls Shanna up onto her shoulders, hits an inverted pile driver, basically strong zero or a dude buster, and both women go down. And fuck you guys, Jesus. Shida finally suplexes Shanna from the apron over the top rope and into the ring, gets another 2 count. Both women exchange pinfall attempts, and Shanna almost gets a 3. Shida hits a Falcon's Arrow, but Shanna is able to kick out once again. Shida then responds with a Shining Wizard, finally able to capture the 1-2-3. Hikaru Shida is now 2 wins, 1 loss. The crowd, they don't really know either one of these women, and I find it was very hard for them to get behind any of them. There was some pops for both sides, but I think this match would have felt maybe a little bit better, and if the crowd was a bit hotter as well. The action wasn't too bad. I felt Shida was going for way too many knee strikes. It was very one-dimensional on her part, and I do apologize for the pop-up sounds you're hearing. But there began to be a nice little buzz throughout the crowd as both women started to win them over. One of the big things was that they woke up when Justin Roberts said there were only 5 minutes left. That's when they started picking up the pace in the match a little bit. Um, Match feel and all, I would have said 2.5 stars, maybe. They did both very well. There was a little bit of miscommunication in the ring, but overall, just the feel of the match, like I said, the fans got excited a little bit, and then it got really quiet, and then get excited again, and get really quiet. Also, like I said, way too many of the same maneuvers being utilized over and over again. The knee strike, the knee strike, the knee strike. And I know Sheeta is a very talented wrestler. Sometimes they need to rely more on the wrestling than the striking, in my opinion. Just my opinion. We then get a video package of Brandy Rhodes. It was a bit odd. It showed her doing her makeup. Showed her with looked like mascara running down her face. Looked like she was getting dressed up for a funeral. In the background, you can see little glimpses, little flashes of Awesome Kong. So there is a very strong alliance, and it's starting to look very much like Awesome Kong will be the hired assassin, so to speak, of Brandy Rhodes. It was a very peculiar little promo package, but we'll see where it goes. That's what I want to see. I want to see where it goes. Now, from there, we go to the Rock and Roll Express, being announced by none other than YouTube's very own Chris Van Vliet. The Rock and Roll Express come out holding the AEW World Tag Team Championships that will be contested for in the main event. And they'll be the ones to present the titles to the winners in the final match. Now, both men play to the crowd as well. Ricky and Robert then attacked by Santana and Ortiz. And they get beat down bad. They get the help beat out of them with a loaded sock, and Santana and Ortiz pose with the tag titles for a moment. They then pick up Ricky Morton and powerbomb him through part of the stage. Now the Young Bucks come out to check on them. This, in my eyes, very, very good angle. Later on, a bunch of referees come out to help the Rock and Roll Express to the back. The Young Bucks, showing their emotions, their worry for these legends of the ring. And in my eyes, sets up a lot for the Inner Circle's Ortiz and Santana. Now, Santana and Ortiz, they feel slighted to begin with because they were left out of this tag team tournament. Now, the tag tournament was already announced before they made their appearance at one of the shows right before their television tapings, or their live television on TNT. But either way, they feel like they've been done wrong. They're being held back because they're connected to Jericho. So they're letting the Young Bucks know, they're letting management know, we got screwed, so we're going to take it out of everyone's asses until we get a shot at the champions. Tony Schiavone is shown once again with Cody, and they're driving up to the arena in that white limousine. He says he thought Cody was going to be a lot more nervous. This limo ride reminds him of Ric Flair's limo ride to Starrcade 1993. This is what I love about Tony Schiavone when he's talking. He's very reminiscent. He's very, he brings knowledge to the table like JR does. Cody and Tony share stories about Dusty. It felt very genuine, to listen to and to watch. It felt good. Cody then talks about his mom coming to the show and he thinks about how many shows she saw with his dad, but he wanted to impress her and to live up to what Dusty did. He said, goes on to say that Jericho was the best he's ever been, but this is his time. Tony then goes on to say, emotion is good, and Cody should take all those years that his father was in the ring and the emotion of his mother in the front row, use that in his fight with Jericho. Very fun, very great moment between Tony Schiavone and Cody. This leads us into a 6-man tag match. It would be QT Marshall, who has 0 wins, 1 loss, along with Alex Reynolds and John Silver, who are 0 for 0. Debut once again for John Silver and Alex Reynolds. They'll be taking on the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, along with Orange Cassidy, who are 0 for 0. Now, Rick and Morty introduced the best friends, which, nothing very special about this match, but I'll go through my notes. The best friends are dressed up as Rick and Morty, with Trent as Morty and Chuck and Cassidy as both Rick. Now, Trent loses his wig and immediately puts it back on. This is at the top of the match. It was funny. This was more of a comedic match than anything else. Silver steals Trent's wig. The crowd boos. Silver, Marshall, and Reynolds all go in for clotheslines in the corner on Trent, weakening their opponent. Trent dodges the last one, hits a tornado DDT, tags out to Chuck, who hits sliced bread on QT Marshall. The best friends try and hug, but QT cuts them off with a huge boot. And Orange Cassidy comes in, kicks the shins of QT. QT, excuse me, where am I? QT goes for a clothesline, but Cassidy rolls under and hits a drop kick, and then a tope onto Reynolds and QT on the floor. The best friends hug and hit strong 0 on Silver for the pinfall. Like I said, best friends win. They are 1-0 in trios matches. I would give probably 1.5 stars for this match. I really would. Like I said, nothing spectacular, nothing amazing. It was a fun match. It was something to make the fans laugh, have a little bit of good time, and that was it. Also to promote Rick and Morty. Now, Chris Jericho comes out after this for the contract signing. The fans letting them know they hate him. And this is all being done on the stage, not inside the ring. Cody finally arrives with Tony Schiavone. Both men arrive for the signing. They have what is supposed to be a legit lawyer sitting between them, a mediator of sorts. Tony introduces both men and the stipulations of the match, where it will go to a panel of 3 judges if the match goes for 60 minutes and no winner is decided. Cody signs the contract right away, doesn't really hesitate much, goes right for the signage. Jericho looks at Cody, showing his hatred and his contempt, and then lunges into the air like he's going to attack Cody. Then laughs at Cody for Cody jumping up to meet him, and says that he got him. The crowd goes nuts, letting Jericho know how bad he sucks. Jericho says he wasn't the one who sucks. Schiavone was. Or Scavone, as he said. Not Schiavone, Scavone. Jericho says this was the biggest match this is going to be the biggest match of Cody's career. And if he wins, he would become what he always wanted to be. The world champion. But if Cody loses, Jericho says that it might mean that Cody wasn't as good as he always thought he was. Jericho follows that up by saying he was going to teach Cody a lesson about what it was like to be a loser, and then goes on, well, looked like he was going to sign the contract, didn't though. Jericho and Cody both stand up, and Shivani and the lawyer back away very quickly, staying out of the way. Jericho tells the crowd to calm down, hillbillies, and they chant various things at Jericho, and a lot of it not very good. Jericho says that both of them didn't make a mockery out of the match, and that they were both professionals. He offers Cody a handshake. Cody shakes it, which surprised me. Jericho goes to leave, but Cody holds on firm, pulls him back in. They have a little stare down. You can see Cody saying something, exchange of words were passed, but it wasn't loud enough for anything to be heard. Jericho raises the mic up. We could stand here all night, he tells Cody, but you might be needed elsewhere. Titantron comes on, or whatever they call it in AEW, and Sammy Guevara's in the screen asking if it's on, says good. The camera angles over, and you can see Dustin Rhodes battling it out with Jake Hager in the parking lot. Hits Dustin with a low blow after choking him out on the car, smashing him up against the car. And very reminiscent of his last fight in Bellator. Hagar knees Dustin's head into the car and then slams the car door on Dustin's arm. Very reminiscent of Four Horsemen attacking Dusty Rhodes. Cody and MJF run out with security, get the inner circle off of and away from Dustin. I do apologize for the hiccups. Jericho lights a cigar, climbs in, and they drive off. Dustin, you can hear screaming, and it almost looks like he's almost in tears as Cody cradles his head in his arms. MJF and Cody lead Dustin into the backstage and to medics, and that is that from there. From there, that leads us into Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Angelico. They are 2 for 3. That's 2 wins, 3 losses here in AEW. They'll be teaming up with Kip Sabian for our second 6-man tag match. And Kip Sabian is 2 wins with 1 loss. They'll be taking on the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, who are 1 for 1 in trios tag. Match started off a little bit weird. A video airs, like an old video game of sorts, saying that Kenny was left alone by his best friend, and they're reference to Kota Ibushi. Sans from Undertale told the villain off, and Omega came out dressed as Sans. As someone who loves Undertale, you're going to like this. Kenny comes out to music from the game, which, wasn't too bad. And the Young Bucks come out as Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter. So a little throwback to one of their big shows before being aired on television. As the Elite pose, Evans, Angelico, and Sabian all attack the Elite. Sabian hits a huge springboard flip to the outside on the Bucks. Omega tries to fight off Hybrid 2, and Omega hits drop kicks on both men and then hits a crusher on both. Sabian cuts him off, but the Bucks are able to stay on top of him with some fast-paced offense. Jack Evans hits a corkscrew kick on Omega that sends him to the floor, then hits a what is it called? A Sasuke special on Omega. I believe I might have that wrong, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounced it. I was trying to find out what the move was called. Yeah. Sabian hits a Hurricane Run off the top rope on Matt Jackson. Evans then hits a handspring elbow and lands on the apron. Evans and Angelico hit a combo double stomp, and Angelico locks in a submission, but Omega's able to break it up. Now Angelico charges in at Kenny in the corner, but Kenny moves it and crashes headfirst into the top turnbuckle. Omega hits a chop on Angelico, but as Omega goes for the Snapdragon, Angelico locks on a reverse figure four. Matt Jackson and Evans both hit standing moonsaults onto other team partners to break the figure four. Nick Jackson tags in and runs wild, killing Sabian, not literally, figuratively. Matt Jackson hits a massive spear on Sabian, and then both men hit a double team move on Sabian. Sabian kicks out and made a comeback, going for Deathly Hollows on Matt Jackson. Jackson blocks it, but Sabian hits Matt with a Poison Rana. Now Omega and Evans tag in. Omega ducks a kick and hits the Snapdragon suplex. Omega then hits all three men with a Snapdragon and then tries to take out Jack Evans with a V-trigger, but Evans dodges it and kicks Omega. He rolls up Matt Jackson, but Jackson catches him and hits a powerbomb in the corner. Sabian hits a tornado DDT on Matt Jackson. Now Nick hits a super kick, and Angelico goes for a crucifix bomb. Nick hits a super kick on Angelico, who goes for a crucifix powerbomb after, but Omega hits him with a V-trigger. Kenny then goes for a Rise of the Terminator, but Sabian cuts him off and sends him through the ropes. The Elite catch him and powerbomb onto the apron. I'm talking about Kip Sabian now. Kenny Omega was thrown out of the ring. Sabian mocks Kenny Omega, ends up doing the same maneuver, or attempts to, gets caught. Powerbomb, triple powerbomb on the apron. Jack Evans tries to springboard in, eats a triple super kick. Omega then hits Evans with a V-trigger and a one-winged angel. That was it. Done and over with. The Elite are 2 wins, 1 loss in trios competition. A lot of high flying, a lot of flips in this match, a lot of high energy. It was go, 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 go the whole time. Now, I'd say one of the better matches. A lot of high spots in this match. A lot of good stuff went down in this match. I think some of it could have been toned down a little bit, but this is what they're bringing to the table, and I'm viewing it. I would have said 3.5, 4 stars for this match. Really would. It was a very good highlight to the show. And it was a fantastic highlight for the Elite. Now Santana and Ortiz, not that anyone knows this at the time, they're dressed up as Rick and Morty in the front row, and as the Bucks are slapping their hands with the fans, the faces are revealed as Santana and Ortiz, who drag the Young Bucks over the guardrail, start pummeling away on them, just putting a beat down. They run away as Omega comes to save them. Very good spot, very awesome spot. Continued on from what happened earlier on with the Rock and Roll Express. This is what I like AEW for. They are very consistent with their storytelling, and it works. Something I was missing poorly before AEW. Excuse me. Santana Ortiz, they are establishing the Inner Circle as a major threat to anyone. And that is what it should be, and they're doing the right thing. This would lead into what I was thinking was our next match. The Librarian comes out, both of them. Peter Avalon, which the name kind of slipped my mind the last time I was doing this. Peter Avalon comes out and doing the shh bit. Very annoying, cheap heat, but it is what it is. He cuts his promo, how horrible North Carolina is. But before he can go on too long, Moxley comes out through the fans. The fans go nuts. They're on their feet. They are excited because they know shit is going to hit the fan. Comes out and just goes straight after Avalon, hits the Dirty Deeds, or whatever he's calling it these days. Very good spot. Grabs the microphone and talks about how the match he's having at Full Gear with Kenny Omega has been turned into an unsanctioned match. You can tell he's pissed. You know, he conveys it in many ways, by yelling into the microphone, by storming around the ring, by pacing, and this controlled rage that he oozes with. You know, it's just perfect. He's mad that officially the match does not count. This made Moxley very angry, as he didn't want AEW to limit him, and that they would be embarrassed if he beat Omega. Moxley goes on to say that he wasn't a stupid man, and they can shove their win-loss record if that's the case. Goes on to say he is unsanctionable, and that they haven't seen anything yet. He promised that Kenny Omega's blood would be on AEW's hands. He had a message for the Turner executives: straight up, kiss my ass and stay out of my way. As always, Moxley, as he is here in AEW, incredible promo. Let everyone know, come to Full Gear, because shit just hit the fan. And that is going to be a great match between Omega and Moxley. This is supposed to happen months ago. Could not, because of a staph injury, I believe it was, that Jon Moxley was suffering from. So it's good to see it still happening, and they are building this mofo up like they should. That leads into our main event of the night, the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. The Lucha Brothers, Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr., with 5 wins, 2 losses. They'll be taking on SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky, who also have a 5-3 loss. They have 5 wins, 3 losses. This is for the AEW Tag Team Championship titles. Who will be the very first Tag Team Champions of AEW? I was waiting all night for it. You know, I knew this was going to be what it was. The Lucha Brothers, high flying, in your face, just way over the top. Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, I'm not, I know a little bit about Scorpio Sky. I know he's a very talented wrestler. Kazarian, I know a lot more of. He's had a very big, long career in wrestling. I believe it's like 15, 20 years. I can't remember exactly. He's done quite a bit in the business, and I know he's got the talent and the skills. Basically, both teams, when it comes to knowing what they want in that ring to happen, both know what they're doing. There's one ugly spot in this match, though, that had me cringing, but the match starts off quickly. All 4 men, they start brawling, because one, it's a very personal match, because the Lucha Brothers took out Christopher Daniels, what was it, a week or 2 ago, injuring him. Pentagon Jr. hits the pump handle driver, gets a quick 2 count. This is after both brothers hit a double super kick on Scorpio Sky. Pentagon calls for a package pile driver, but Sky breaks it up. Sky nails Sling Blade got nailed with a Sling Blade for it. Kazarian hits Pentagon, but Phoenix comes in, runs across the ropes, kicks Kazarian right in the face. Kazarian hits a double clothesline on the Lucha Brothers to make a comeback. Kaz slams Phoenix and hits a springboard leg drop. Pentagon tries to kick Kaz, but Kaz pulls Phoenix up, and Pentagon accidentally kicks his own brother in the back. Sky hits a Hurricane Rana to the outside on Pentagon. Kazarian hits a German suplex on Phoenix, gets a 2 count. Phoenix gouges the eyes of Kaz, runs up the top rope, jumps over Sky's clothesline, while balanced on the top rope. Lands on the middle rope, springboards back up to the top rope, hits a lucha arm drag on Kazarian. Pentagon hits a super kick to Sky on the floor. Phoenix sends Kazarian to the floor, and Phoenix hits a leg drop over the top rope to the floor onto Kazarian, who was balanced on Pentagon's knees. A nice holy crap moment there. Phoenix hits a big leg drop on Kazarian, but he kicks out at 2. Pentagon then kicks Kaz in the leg and tags Phoenix in. Phoenix taunts Sky, who comes into the ring, but the ref blocks him, makes him get back out on the apron. Phoenix hits a drop kick on Kazarian that gets another 2 count. Phoenix tries to get a cross arm breaker on Kaz. Kaz is able to roll through. Starts to hit both men before hitting Angel's Wings, a little tribute to his tag team partner, one Christopher Daniels. Hits it on Phoenix. Kazarian uses Christopher Daniels' finisher, like I said. Sky tags in, takes out both men, the Lucha Brothers. Sky runs at Pentagon, but Sky is sent to the apron. Sky comes back over with a head scissors on Pentagon. Sky then hits the ropes, hits a tope con giro on Pentagon, and Kazarian tries to do a Hurricane Rana off the apron onto the floor, but on Phoenix, but Kazarian's foot gets caught in the ropes, and smashes his neck right on the apron. That was the cringe part of this match. Like when I mean cringe, I don't mean in like awful. I mean like, ooh, God, that must have hurt. Sky and Kazarian both hit DDTs on the Lucha Brothers for another 2 count. A lot of near falls in this match. Sky and Kaz go for the SCU later, but Pentagon hits a Canadian Destroyer, taking out Kaz, while Phoenix hits a cutter on Sky for another 2 count. Phoenix and Sky crash into each other with a crossbody. They are left down and out in the middle of the ring. Pentagon catches Kazarian on the apron, powerbombing him through the ringside timekeeper's table. I thought Kazarian was out after that. After bashing his neck on the apron, trying that Hurricane Run, and then the powerbomb, I thought he was done. Sky goes on, eats a super kick from Pentagon, and Phoenix stands up on Pentagon's shoulders, hits the splash, another near fall. Sky cradled Pentagon when they go for the double stomp package pile driver, and Kazarian cuts off Phoenix. Sky pins Pentagon with an old roll up. SCU are your very first ever AEW World Tag Team Champions. SoCal Uncensored now 6 wins, 3 losses. I would have given this one a 4-star match. I really would have. I would have gone for that 4-star. A lot of high spots. I think a little bit too many high spots sometimes. But I don't know. The finish was almost like it was a lucky win for SoCal. So I think this is going to build up a lot of self-doubt in SoCal Uncensored in their upcoming matches, because it did look a little bit of a fluky win in my eyes. As always, Pentagon and Phoenix, they delivered. Scorpio Sky and Kazarian, as well as the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, they always deliver in that ring. I enjoyed it. It was a great main event. It was a great atmosphere following this win as they celebrated inside the ring. It was, to me, a bit of an abrupt ending, though. It was like right in the middle of a high spot, and then just a quick roll up, boom, it's done. But it was still a great match. It shows that AEW is taking their tag team division seriously. SCU, like I said, celebrates as the show goes off air. You hear the final words of JR and Excalibur as the show goes off. Always love hearing JR's voice. I'm really digging Excalibur. I really am, as a commentator, really digging it. Overall, a great show. I can understand why they are doing better in the ratings than other companies are. They are bringing you compelling stories. AEW did a great job of building up Full Gear. That is their upcoming pay-per-view. They provided us with a lot to think about going into this. AEW Full Gear shaping up to be a fantastic pay-per-view with two blow-away main events in Chris Jericho and Cody for the AEW World Title, and that unsanctioned lights-out match, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. Now, there's a lot more coming. We're also going to have Santana and Ortiz taking on the Young Bucks at Full Gear, as well as Hangman Page, who straight up challenged Pac. Said he was going to take him out. We're going to be finding out more as we go into next week. That will be the go home show into Full Gear. Stay tuned, man. I'm loving what AEW is bringing to the table thus far. They aren't doing too much wrong. I understand that there's a lot of their wrestlers. They are learning to work with each other for the first time. There's going to be a little bit of moments where the fans don't really know who to cheer for, who they should gravitate towards. We'll get to know these wrestlers that we don't know a little bit more, and have a great time doing so. They're doing things in AEW that some shy away from, and they're doing things their way, and I like what I'm seeing. That was full coverage of and I do please excuse my notes. Some of it was horribly put together, but I was rushing it last night. Like I said, I watched till after 3 a.m. because it was just such a long day. I forgot what was going down. But someone called me when I was doing reviews on WWE when I first started doing stuff here on YouTube. They called me an angry Viking. They said I looked just like and sounded like an angry Viking, and I don't know if I can use the angry Viking nickname anymore because AEW isn't giving me too much to complain about. It's compelling television. It is high impact, high velocity, in your face. The storytelling is done correctly. They're doing a lot for a show that has just started, a company that is just freshly being built. I don't think a lot of the companies back in the day would have been able to be where they're at with just like not even a year under their belts and only a few shows live on television plus leading up. They haven't done too much, but what they are doing now is by far doing better than what a lot of these other promotions are doing. Stay tuned for AEW Dynamite next week. It is a go-home show for Full Gear. Also, check out on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube. You will find NWA Power. And then on AEW here on YouTube, you will find AEW Dark at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Pete Wall, the not-so-angry Viking. I almost said a-hole. But yes, the not-so-angry Viking. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Have a better tomorrow. And if you missed it, well, I hope you can find a replay out there somewhere online because you missed an outstanding AEW show. I would have given the overall show probably a 4-star rating. That is my opinion. There you have it. So I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you enjoyed how I went about it. And we'll be bringing you more each and every week right here on Pillar to Post. Oh yeah, I'm out of here.